What's up, guys? This is Matt Koalas, co-founder and admin of Detroit Sports Bettors, coming to you with the first DraftKings sponsored YouTube video. With these YouTube videos, you can generally find them to be about probably 5 to 10 minutes in length, and we're going to be doing slate breakdowns. And the slate breakdowns could generally include NBA, UFC, and NFL. Okay, those are the three that I cover. So those are the three that I'll generally be touching on. And thanks to the UFC, we should have the majority of the year taken care of. Okay, before we get into some of the slate breakdowns and picks, we have a couple announcements within DSB. First, we released the first Detroit Sports Bettors podcast yesterday with myself, Mike Sullivan, and Kyle Bogenschutz. In that podcast, it's going to be similar to the YouTube videos, only longer, but we'll talk about a little bit of everything. There might be some opinions, discussions, future bets. Yesterday on the podcast, I talked about the play-in tournament. Unfortunately, I had the Wizards +2, which blew up in my face. But going forward, that's what it's going to be. Also, as we go forward in sports, we're going to kind of hit a dead zone where it's going to be focusing mostly on MLB and UFC. And I do have some UFC fighters lined up to come in on the podcast and give us some picks and predictions for fights as well. So I think that'll be pretty cool, something unique that we're going to be offering to DSB because of Serenity Medical CBD, my company that I own. We have some UFC fighters with us. So I'm pretty close with the UFC, and I'm excited to bring you guys that. Okay. In addition to that, if you do listen to the podcast, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple. We would greatly appreciate some good reviews. Maybe even if you want to write a couple sentences about DSB or anything, man, it just goes a long way. You guys know how social media and stuff is today. Everything comes down to likes, comments, comment, subscribe. Come on, so I hate to do it, but yeah, it's needed, unfortunately. So we would greatly appreciate that. Also, DraftKings has given us another opportunity to do a DFS tournament within our groups. We have a DraftKings sponsored PGA Championship tournament going on in MDG and in DSB. So if you want to take part in that, it's a $5 entry. We have it posted on Twitter within the Detroit Sports Bettors group within Metro Detroit golfers. It's a ton of fun. You're only going against Metro Detroit people, so you can really put your knowledge to the test. Okay, and man, you're spending $5. I believe top 68 positions get paid out. So it just makes things a little more interesting. And then also we're proving to DraftKings what we can do as a group. And then come NFL season, we're going to be rolling. We'll have DFS tournaments. We'll have promotions, this and that. So DraftKings is really seeing the potential within this group. And I would greatly appreciate it. And it would just be awesome if we could get that filled and get a good tournament going. Okay. So looking over today, should be a pretty cool slate. I mean, we got the San Antonio Spurs against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies line opened at -4. It's sitting at -4.5 now. And I believe the over-under started at 222.5, and now it's at 223. So for me, I like the under here. Personally, with playoff basketball, players play better defense. There's far less experimentation. The starters are going to get the full run. And again, it's playoff basketball. I mean, this is playoff atmosphere. You're going to be playing tougher. Defense is far more important. You're not going to be so lackadaisical. So I do like the under here, and that's hitting at around 57% of simulations. Also, I like Memphis -4.5. I like it up to 5. That was kind of my cap for that one. But when you're comparing the Memphis starting lineup to San Antonio starting lineup, the San Antonio starting lineup is basically, they're somewhat built around DeJounte Murray and DeMar DeRozan. Those are the two that really have to go off for them. Now, when comparing it to Memphis, Memphis has Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson, and Jonas Valanciunas. For me, the most important person in there is actually Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson is a talented offensive scorer, and then he's also an interior presence. For someone like the San Antonio Spurs, DeMar DeRozan's a slasher and a mid-range shooter. You don't see him taking many threes. And it's very similar with DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray doesn't take a ton of threes. Lonnie Walker's like a wild card. I don't put too much into him because he's just tough. He's so up and down. You know what I mean? But for me, Jaren Jackson is a key player here. I like his player point prop. I believe it was 15.5. I like the over there. He is someone who is very capable of scoring 20 plus. He's a good rebounder. He's a good shot blocker. And then when you're comparing like Jakob Poeltl to Jonas Valanciunas, I mean, Joe Val is just more talented in every statistical category. He's a better offensive player. He has better touch around the basket. He's a better rebounder. He's a better interior defender. So I really just, Memphis is just a better team. When it's a playoff basketball matchup, do or die, I'm going to take the better team more often than not. Then in addition to that, take a look at the benches. DeAnthony Melton is a very good and capable backup point guard. Grayson Allen is not playing this game, but I mean, they are a deep team. They'll totally be fine. They also have Desmond Bane, who's a great rookie. They have Brandon Clark, another good, I believe he's a power forward, a little smaller power forward, but again, another talented player, and then Xavier Tillman. So I like their bench in comparison to the Spurs bench, and I like Memphis here at minus 4.5, and I also like the under. Okay, going into the second game of the night, the game that I'm extremely excited for, and that is the Golden State Warriors against the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay, this line opened at -5. I hit it yesterday. If you listen to the podcast, that was my favorite game. I talked about that game and the Wizards +2, whatever. But I still love the Lakers -5. The only thing that makes me nervous is I'm assuming this is a public betting favorite. So it is a little scary for me. I don't love betting heavy with the public. It's just one of those things. But when you're looking at the matchups, it's just tough. Steph Curry has averaged 23 points per game against the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers are a great defending team. They've blown out the Warriors twice this season, and then they lost by 2 in a game where like Andrew Wiggins had 20, Kelly Oubre Jr. had 23, Steph had 26. I think Jordan Poole maybe even had 18 or something like that. Just one of those games that's somewhat rare, especially when you're talking about Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre Jr. Okay, Kelly Oubre Jr. is not expected to play in this game as well, so that takes out a key defender against LeBron James. Kelly Oubre Jr. is a pest. He's long, he's lengthy, and he moves his feet very well. He would have been the primary defender on LeBron James. Now, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, kind of like those guys. But here's the thing, too. Who guards Anthony Davis? Kevon Looney? I don't know. I think Anthony Davis is definitely poised to have a big game here. His over-under is 25.5. I would like that. Personally, I think he's the one who's going to get this game done. Anthony Davis was out for a long time. Now he's back. They have their whole team back. And it's just not looking good for the Warriors here. Again, I don't like betting heavy with the public. Steph's own over-under is 36.5. The closest he's come to that is 26. I would be on the under there too. And Steph is my favorite player in the world, favorite player ever. And LeBron is my least favorite player all time. I think he's a loser. But I got to side with the Lakers here. I just think they're the better team. They're the better defensive team. And I think they just get it done. You're counting too much on Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. Yes, Steph Curry can go off for 40, 50, 60, but against the Lakers, it's going to be tough. They run a lot of screen action with Steph Curry, and LeBron has seen that year after year after year. The Lakers know they have to come out and hedge that extremely hard. They might switch Steph. Like, they are going to suffocate him, I would really, really assume. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see the Warriors somehow do it and knock off the Lakers. Nothing would make me happier. And Steph Curry to go up for 50, but I am someone who rides the stats, and the stats do not add up here. And so for me, I am going to be going with the Los Angeles Lakers. Sadly. Okay, then touching on the very last game, going on the Washington Wizards against the Indiana Pacers. Right now, the Wizards are minus 3.5 in that matchup. And then let me check on the over-under here real quick. I forgot about that. The over-under for that game, it's not released yet. Okay, that's why. But either way, Malcolm Brogdon did come back last game, and he played 21 minutes. All right, he shot 6 for 10, getting a groove back. He is a very dangerous player. Him and Sabonis. So again, Sabonis, if Brogdon is ever playing, fade the Sabonis triple-double. When Brogdon does not play, Sabonis gets far more assist distribution. He gets more usage percentage, ball handling responsibilities, things of that nature from the 4. Okay, but I would be going with Malcolm Brogdon. They have shown that they have capable backup players as well, like Edmund Summer. I like him a lot. So I personally think that the Pacers plus 3.5 is a good bet. The money line bet isn't bad either. They played great last game. They laid the smackdown on the Hornets when I know a lot of people were betting the Hornets in that one due to the injuries. And don't get me wrong, like it all added up to, yeah, you should probably go with the Hornets. Like they didn't have their full lineup. They didn't have many players, but it's the NBA. It's sometimes when it's like, oh my God, the public is on this team. Like it should happen. It's 100%. It just goes the other way. That's the NBA. You know what I mean? You can't really explain it sometimes. That's just how it goes. But for me, I think I'm going to be on the Pacers here. Bradley Beal played like absolute trash last night. Russell Westbrook played like absolute trash last night. I don't even know what he ended up shooting. It was 4 for something. But yeah, at the end of the day, those two didn't seem normal. Bradley Beal is coming off a slight hamstring injury. So that's where I'm at with that. His hamstring could still be iffy. He wasn't making mid-range shots. He wasn't making his 3-pointers, anything along that. So that's where I'm going to be at. I'm going to be on the Grizzlies minus 4.5, Lakers minus 5.5, Pacers plus 3.5 currently. Okay. As always, keep an eye on that injury report. See who's playing, see who's going to be in, see who's not. Okay. That's very, very important, especially with playoff basketball, because in the playoffs, the main players are going to be getting the majority of the run. Okay. Keep that in mind. Best of luck in the play-in tournament. Thank you for checking out this first NBA slate breakdown on YouTube, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay, guys, if you haven't, please check out that DSB podcast. Please check out the DraftKings DFS tournament within MDG and DSB. We just kind of launched the Instagram today. So starting to post on that a little bit. The Twitter's been gone. You know, we put some plays on there too. And then the Discord. Always remember that Discord. That Discord is awesome. There's so much information in there. So as always, thanks guys. Best of luck tonight. Go DSB.